Hey, I just wanted to talk to you guys really quick about piano lessons. So parents watch, you can watch with your children that are taking from me, but I just wanted to explain the binder and what we're doing and what our goals are. I thought it would be easier to just send a video. So first thing, they all should have gotten they all have a black binder. I've given them, this one's white because it's my daughter's and it's what we had first, but they all have black binders and I've put this sheet inside it that is our calendar. So check the calendar. It's the lessons, it has the recital date right here at the bottom, and then these are group lessons, so that's when everyone attends. So once a month I do a group lesson and we all play a piece in front of each other. It just helps people get to know each other a little bit better, and it helps them at the recital not be as nervous. And it also is great to practice playing in front of each other. And then we do other activities as a group at that group lesson. So those are a fantastic opportunity. I love those. And then the other weeks, it just explains right here for your child. So make sure you look at that, and I keep it just in the back of their binder just so they can see. On the front of their binder, this one doesn't have it, but your kids' binders, I believe, have a music note practice page that helps practice their notes. And there is a website that has some note practice, and I'll send you all the link to that. So anytime if they practice those notes every day, that would be fantastic. It's super, the sooner they learn those notes, the sooner they will be able to play even better. Then I want to talk about, we're doing these piano adventure books this term, and don't worry, we'll stick with them. We won't buy new ones next term. But I think I'm liking them better than what we used last term. But I just wanted to explain them just a little bit. So they say up here, lesson book, and there's 4 different ones. Technique and artistry, which is going to be backwards for you guys, but you get the gist. The performance book, and then their theory. So the theory, they'll have times where they have a worksheet or 2 to do out of it, and I'll write that in their practice record. They won't have to use this every time. Performance will be a song that's a little more challenging. It's a thinner book because it's expected that it will take them a couple weeks to work on their songs in here, and I will be more strict with these songs. They need to make sure they're getting their dynamics and knowing their notes on these songs. So performance, it's called that because they need to play more like it's a performance. The technique and artistry is just reinforcing techniques and dynamics and different things that tie in with what we're doing in the lesson book. So our lesson book's the thickest of the 4 books. And this is the one where they're kind of moving along, learning more notes and whatnot. And another thing I wanted to talk about is hand position. I know some people might think it just doesn't matter. And if you don't want to play for a long time or play well, then it doesn't matter. But if you actually do want to be able to play well, you need to have, I keep telling my students, the rounded finger shape. The tips of their fingers should be hitting the piano. So as they're practicing, I'd like if you could just check every once in a while, and their wrists, this should be flat and relaxed, not tight, not firm, and not tight fingers, just nice and flat, resting on the piano. And they lift the fingers, they don't lift their wrist. You're lifting the fingers. And that gets the dexterity of your fingers so that as you expand your playing, you can move those fingers better across the piano. And if you haven't learned that from the beginning, it is super hard to change that. So watch your kids, help them make sure they're doing rounded fingers, none of this flat fingering, none of this weird wristness. And then a couple things they can do to work on that is make O's, like just go like this with each finger 3 times, and you make these little O's. And that helps strengthen their fingers. I tell them fingers need exercise. When you strengthen any muscle, it has to get used to it. And this 4th finger really struggles. That one has a hard time. So have them, when they're just sitting around, do this to help practice that round shape and going like this, tapping those fingers. Like that would be an excellent finger practice. Then I wanted to talk about their, let's see, what do I want to talk about? It's pretty basic if you look in their books what they're doing. If there's ever a question, then feel free to text me or whatnot, and I will give you, hopefully answer your question if you're confused. The binders, I do want to quickly talk about the binders. I don't want this to be too long. In the binder, their first sheet is a practice record, and they have these tabs. So this is where they're practicing. Let's see, I think this is blocking my voice. So this is where they fill in how many days they've practiced. And they get these little smiley face stickers when they come. They get 1 sticker if they've practiced 3 days. So this represents a day. It doesn't matter which day, just go in order. It doesn't have to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's just, did I practice? The next time I practiced filled in The next time I practice to fill it in. And then if they do 5 or more, they get 2 stickers. If they do all 7, they get 3 stickers. And the stickers represent how much treats they get. So if they want to get more candy when at the end of their lesson, they need to practice. And then on this practice record as well, it has the name of each book. So if it says Technique and Artistry, this page, it's from that specific book. In their finger exercises, if I write lesson page, whatever, it's talking about the lesson book. Because the finger exercises and scales, there's not a book particularly for that. Then there's these other tabs. Sometimes I'll give them music assignments. It will be behind here, or if they have sheet music. Then I have a scales tab, and they will be learning scales. The younger students won't get to that quite yet, but the older students who are in the book 1, the level 1, will be starting their C scale, and they've already started it, just the beginnings of it. And then theory, activities, and whatnot will be there, and then just extra info is the next one. So that is what their binder is and what's in it. Scales, I'm going to quickly talk about scales. If your child wants to, we will do scales, and they can be more casual about it, or they can jump right in. Scales are super important. They're super helpful for understanding music theory and how everything works together. So they are important. I know some people feel like they're boring. But if your child wants to really excel and move forward on scales, I'm not going to require it, but there's this book, is a simple scale book. And it just kind of goes through the scales, and it's a more simplified book. But my favorite book, it's this one, but this one's a little bit more pricey. I think it's, I don't know, I think this one's like $13 and the other one is $8. But this one is a fantastic book and lays out scales and whatnot. So if you want them to be more challenged and really understanding, then I would recommend getting this one. And if they really don't want to get a scales book, I'll just have the scales behind their scale sheet, and they can just work on it from there. So I'm going to leave that optional. I don't like to make you buy too much stuff. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. Then one more thing, those of you who have been in lessons before already know you have this fun composition book, and we will be starting those at our group lesson. So that will be fun. They each get to do a little composition where they write their own piece, and then they will perform it at the recital. So hopefully that explains some things about piano lessons, and I hope they're having an enjoyable time. Make sure they practice. Please help make them make a time to practice so they can improve. A couple kids had only practiced twice this last time, which makes me so sad. So I do want them to practice. I'm not just going to pass off their stuff unless they at least know it decently. So they need to be practicing. Anyway, all your kids are adorable. We're having a fun time teaching. I hope they're enjoying lessons, and we'll see you later.